All right, so moving on now to our next comic review, and that is World's Finest Total Eclipso. This is volume 7 of Mark Waid's World's Finest. This was also a book brought to me by my friend Chris. Thank you as always, brother. And yeah, so we're going to talk about the next big story of World's Finest, which, again, if you don't know what World's Finest is essentially a Superman Batman book that is set in the nebulous early years of their career. So this is like where we only have Supergirl as the only other Kryptonian. We have Dick still as Robin, and that's kind of it. I will say though that that the next volume, volume 8, will be tying into Justice League Unlimited in an event called We Are Yesterday, and that I will probably be doing a review of Justice League Unlimited volume 1 in the next comic review, because Chris sent that as well. Thank you, man. But yeah, I really like this comic. The problem is like I don't know what to say about it that's going to stretch it to a certain review length. I really don't know how I'm going to be able to like get this to a longer video, because there's really, and that's kind of been the problem. While they're all very self-contained stories, like a lot of them are very self-contained, Impossible, and really the whole run, give or take a few of them. The problem is that they aren't too deep, and again, it's just Mark Waid not only celebrating Superman and Batman, which is great, and celebrating their friendship. The problem is that they aren't really like deep. A lot of them aren't really a lot of deep comics, and this is another one of those where the main story, even though it is an Eclipso story, which we'll get to, the problem is that, well, it's only 3 issues, and the other two comics collected in here is a one and done story and a special involving Green Lantern and Green Arrow, and kind of the Flash too. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see how long I can drag this out. Anyway, so as you can tell, the comic is called Total Eclipso. So I wonder who the villain is. It's Eclipso. Eclipso is always a villain I enjoy seeing. He's always a villain that I have a lot of fun for. I don't know if I'd call him one of my favorite villains in the DC universe, but I definitely would call him a villain that whenever he shows up, I get excited about. Like I always am like, oh yeah, it's Eclipso. I'm so excited. Because Eclipso is just a fun villain. If you don't know who he is, he was like the progenitor, the first, the embodiment of God's wrath before the Spectre. He's been trapped in it. He gets trapped in a diamond. He makes people evil. That's really his whole shtick, is that he essentially is just a dude who makes people evil. And that's really that's kind of his whole story, is that I'm going to make everyone evil. That's all he does. So Eclipso in here is freed from an eclipse after his latest attack on the city of Metropolis, and he's taken over members of the Justice League, even Superman and Batman, leading to Red Tornado seeking help. And who does he seek help from? The Justice Society. So the Justice Society comes in and helps, alongside Robin, stop Eclipso from, taking over the world. And that's really the story. Sometimes you don't need like a big universe-ending event to really like showcase your villain. Sometimes you just want to see him do a dumb, stupid plan and have fun with it. The thing, even though, and I've said this before, is that while the comic is supposed to be like on Superman and Batman, the thing of it is that the comic actually is more about the Mark Waid celebrating the DC universe, and Superman and Batman are really, Clark and Bruce are really just the vehicle to showcase that love. And it really is evident here, because Clark and Bruce barely play any kind of role in this comic, if I'm being honest. And that kind of sucks, because it's a Superman and Batman book, and I get like Mark, you love Mr. Wade, I know you love the DC universe and all, but like, can you like focus on the other two? This is more of a Robin story, and I do appreciate that it does have like Robin be more of the focal point, but yeah, Bruce and Clark barely register in the scale. I do like that the Justice. It's always cool to see the JSA in action and even like save the Justice League for a turn. It's really cool to see them just come flying in and being like, "Hey guys, heard you need help." But yeah, story's pretty decent. It's nothing big. The next story involves a team up between Jimmy Olsen and Batgirl, and also Crypto and Ace. Essentially what's happened is that Superman, Batman, and Robin have all gone missing, and they've been missing for weeks, and Batgirl and Jimmy, thanks to sorry, I lost my train of thought. It's early in the morning. Essentially what has happened is that Ace and Crypto bring Jimmy and Barbara together to help find Batman and Superman and Robin. That's really the story. It's fun. We get to see more of Jimmy Olsen using superpowers, because I think people forget that Jimmy Olsen has a lot of gadgets and stuff that make him into superheroes for a bit. And he makes himself into Elastalad in this comic. So that was pretty fun. Nothing special. The next one is the Green Arrow, Green Lantern special, which is Mark Waid basically having it set during the Hard Traveling Heroes story. What is Hard Traveling Heroes, I hear you ask? Well, it's basically Neil Gaiman's and not Neil Gaiman, Neil Adams comic. Like, it's one of the most seminal DC books ever, where it had Ollie and Hal traveling across America, finding out about learning that, hey, America kind of sucks. It's a really great comic. You've probably seen the cover of like Green Lantern, like using trying to get the power from the battery, and Ollie shooting an arrow into it. This basically follows one of those stories where they encounter a new villain. It's not really new, it's Deathstroke. It's just a set where Slade Wilson is essentially just kind of doing a cover-up, and it also eventually goes back to the Flash. Again, nothing big, but it's always fun to see Ollie and Hal. I always enjoy seeing Oliver and Hal being buddies, and that's kind of the big thing with the comic. So yeah, nothing really special, but come Volume 8, it's going to be treated as a big event between the past and present in a time travel story involving the Justice League and World's Finest, so I'm really excited for that. All in all, it's another cute story. What I think I like best about World's Finest is that you can really basically, for the most part, pick up these books separately and read them separately. I would give it a look if you just want to read something fun. But anyway, so once again, Chris, thank you for this comic, and hope you all enjoyed this review. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.